My name is Kelly Lathrop, and I have had the amazing opportunity to be a cosmetologist for the past almost 10 years. I didn't know this is what I wanted to do. I was the exact opposite. I was a huge tomboy. I played 3 sports in high school. I wore sweatpants and a sweatshirt, jeans and t-shirt, hair in a ponytail every day. And I wanted to play softball in college and be a special education teacher. But my road to my career definitely took a turn, and I fell in love with cosmetology. I now work for the hair company and spa in Nourishment, Wisconsin. I've been here for the past 4 years. I've level jumped faster than anyone else and currently hold one of the top stylist positions here at the salon. Our salon is actually a Redken Elite salon, which is super exciting to be able to say. There's not very many. I think there's only like 300 in the whole US. So for us in this small town of like 6,000 to 10,000 people, it's a huge accomplishment, and we take a lot of pride in that. I would love to be able to be a part of Redken because they set themselves apart in a lot of different ways. They not only are #1 in education, but their education is so different from other educators. Their educators are all on the same page with not only education, but how they go about teaching the classes, different ways that they answer questions from people in their classrooms. I love that they do classes not only on a big scale at like the symposium, but they also do like the exchange where you can do hands-on, direct with the stylists, and then also even when they come to our salon and teach us different tips and tricks and techniques. Today I'm going to be working on my model Sammy, and I'm going to be doing a technique I learned actually this past July at the Redken Exchange. Right now a lot of the technique is balayage, ombre, things like that. So today I'm going to be using the Redken freehand lightener, and we will be retouching Sammy's balayage by using that to create points of light and depth into her hair. So this is my model Sammy. Sammy has been blonde for a very long time, and recently we've been starting to take her a little darker, give her the regrowth look. So today I'm going to be showing you 2 different techniques. I'm going to be showing you 2 things that I learned while I was at the exchange this past July with the Adam Brown and Sean. So the first thing I'm going to do is start in the back section here, below her occipital bone, and take and do slices in a diagonal back form to break up this back area and give her some blondes closer up to her root without compromising the depth that we want. We pre-did Sammy with a 6N from Color Fusions and 10 volume to add the depth at her roots. Then we dried her and pre-treated her with Pre-Art and then hair cleansing cream and rinsed her out, dried her, and got her ready for this service. So in the back here area, I will be using Flash Lift 40 volume. Flash Lift 20 volume, because the freehand lightener that I'm using on the top, I want to sit for anywhere between 40 and 50 minutes, and so I didn't want the back hair to get too blonde too quickly, especially because this hair is a little less porous. We wanted it to lift slower as we go. So I'm going to start off by sectioning her in a diagonal back. And I'm also doing the diagonal back here along the hairline because Sammy likes to wear her hair up in a high messy bun. So this will help illuminate these bottom pieces when her hair is up. She'll have a little bit of that color back there. So what I'm going to do is take my section, and I'm going to do do a stitch or a weave, a little bit bigger of one, because I don't want to add too much blonde along the hairline, because with doing the balayage technique you want to show different points of light, and technically the sun does not hit underneath here. So I'm using Flash Lift 20 volume. I'm just going to go through, start in zone 2, and then slowly turn my brush more vertical and just kind of gently go up close to the root. I don't need to necessarily go right directly at the root because I want to give it more of a soft look instead of harsh. And then I'm going to slowly just kind of diffuse this into her other color there. Make sure I have enough saturation here. And I'm going to continue up back here and do another diagonal going the opposite direction. So starting from the center part here in the back and connecting it with the top highest point of my previous parting. So going and weave or stitch, do more of a bigger stitch. Once I have the product on and the foil placed correctly, I'll go up and slowly diffuse the line up towards her root line here. This is going to be a great technique to break up this back section from the occipital bone below without having to do 100 foils, but still give the same look. And then this last section, I'm just going to take and go up towards the back of her ear. You can also do this technique with freehand lightener. I'm choosing to put it in the foils because we want Sammy to sit for a long time with the freehand lightener on. So and I'm only using 20 volumes, so I want to use the heat that the foil holds in to help keep that foil longer and to also help with the process to make sure that the 20 lifts her as high as we need her to. So again, I'm going to start on this side and go from the middle part back up towards her ear so that when her hair is pulled up, you can see the color when it's pulled up there. I also am trying to make sure that I keep my elevation pretty low in more of the natural free area that the hair wants to lay. My next section, again, I'm going to take from the highest point in my previous and bring it towards the middle at a slight 45-degree angle. My foil starts to slip a little bit. The nice thing is I can take my comb underneath, under my fold here, and just make sure I have it nice and snug. Even though I'm just diffusing this line, it's still really important to have good, clean foils. And my last section, I'm going to take from the highest point of this one to the top of my section here. The other thing with Sammy is Sammy competes in fitness competitions. So when she's on stage, there's a lot of really bright lights beaming down on her. So we want to make sure that we get her to a nice, very cool blonde so that during her competitions, she doesn't have any warmer tones throughout here. We want to make her a nice, cool blonde to really accentuate her other features for that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to let Sammy's hair kind of fall in a natural fall position with a center part. Now with this, what I want to do is look for where the light is hitting it and creating some points of light. Most people like to see more light here in the front of their face and slowly kind of diffuse back with a little less lighting there. So what I'm going to do is do the Redken 5th Avenue technique, and I'm going to actually freehand, not only using the freehand lightener, but just kind of pick where I see the light, where I want to create a lighter spot and where I want to create more depth. During this time, I'm going to really concentrate on my body position and making sure that my elevation isn't too high, keeping a low elevation. Also using the freehand lightener. A nice little tip or trick that we learned while at the exchange is when you go to start mixing this, it's a very dense powder. So to take and kind of swirl and do a figure 8 is the best way to mix this without getting tons of powder everywhere. So I'm just going to slowly do this. It is a very big kind of patience thing, but it's definitely a best practice formulation. Once a lot of this powder is mixed in here, then I can do more of a quicker motion. The great thing about the freehand lightener, you can see that consistency is much like a whipping cream or Cool Whip. Working with Redken, I just love the fact that our color and our products that we give to our clients to take home to keep up the creative stuff that I've gotten to do for them is just awesome, and it looks great and it feels great, and I can stand behind it 100%. The other thing that is very important with using this technique is having clean brushes. So on my station here, I have a couple extra brushes to use as I need them. So what I'm going to do first is start off here in the front section of Sammy's hair and create a triangle going from her hairline or the top of her parietal ridge back to about the highest point, a little more of where the comb starts to curve off the top of her head there for the natural fall position. Then what I'm going to do is take and make sure I have this section very clean. And I'm going to take and pinch from the side here. If you pinch forward like this, you flatten it almost too much, so I pinch from the side, keeping a good amount of tension here. The tension here is very important. Then I'm going to take the brush and kind of hold it like a pen, so that or a chopstick, I'm sorry, more like a chopstick. So just really relaxed form here. And I'm just going to go through with some sweeping motions. As you can see, my body position is very important during this time, because if I were to stand from back here and do this type of motion, it's not quite as smooth. So I'm actually going to be standing off to the side here. So I'm going to load my brush, making sure to keep it very clean. Going to pinch this section here, and I'm going to start just kind of doing this swooshing motion. I like to use movie analogies, so I think of the movie Stepmom when she's teaching her how to paint the leaves and how to make them look natural. Same with this type of technique, you want it to look natural. So we're just going to go through and take some sweeping motions. I'm going to, because Sammy wants to see more of the light in her face area here, I'm actually going to be doing an angle where I want my point of light to be at closest to her scalp here, and then also a point of light here. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I get enough saturation on the hair. The great thing about this product, which I'm using freehand lightener and using 40 volume, because the nice thing about this product is the outside creates a shell. So you want to make sure that you have enough saturation. I'm going to just elevate just a little bit so I can really make sure that I'm getting close enough to her root, but not necessarily on it, but I want to make sure that I'm getting enough saturation to cover this, so that, because what happens with this lightener is it creates a shell, and so the inside stays moist, and that's what lightens the hair. So I am actually going to go over previous sections just a little bit, just because I know that won't, because as it oxidizes, it's going to harden, so it won't lighten as long. And then go through and make sure I have enough of a shell created. Now, if you can still see the hair through it, that means there's not enough product on the hair. So I'm also going to take with the back of my finger and just kind of diffuse this line so that it slowly will melt into the color. I also, on this side, just going to turn her so I can show you and adjust my hands. I'm going to make sure I go here on the side and even cover this side section here so that it rounds off her hair. This is also another good way to make sure that I have enough product on her hair, because I shouldn't be able to see anything. It should be a nice thick coating. Then I'm going to take a piece of cotton and put that right underneath so that it is not to touch any other color. And I'm also going to go under. The nice thing too about the freehand and the balayage technique is you don't necessarily want full saturation through the ends. So I'm even going to check underneath here and make sure that I have this all rounded out here. Next, I'm going to look where I want my next point of light. And as you can see, the light's hitting here. So I'm actually going to go through and take a triangle section from where her shape of her head starts to fall. and the direction of her hair. She kind of has a natural part farther back here at the colic, so we're just going to kind of try to avoid that area so as not to accentuate that spot. So again, I'm going to comb through, making sure I have a nice clean section. Pinch with a really good amount of tension. Load my brush. And here you can see the importance of elevation. If I start lifting this, you see how it creates this little dip in here? That's not going to give me a very clean amount of product on her hair. And also if I go too low, there's a good chance of me getting other colors that I don't necessarily want. So I'm going to try to hold it up more at a 45-degree angle here. Hold it like a chopstick. And again, I'm going to do the V so that I create a depth in the center here and light in the different points there. Once I have a good amount of product loaded onto the spots where I want the most lightest pieces of hair, I'm going to go through at the back of my hand and diffuse this line and the line here in the center. It really creates a beautiful transition of melting the base color into blonde. And you can see here that you can still see some of her color underneath there, so that means I do not have it saturated enough. So I'm going to go through here again and just add more product. And this time, instead of doing more of the V section here, I'm actually going to do it the opposite way, and so I create a point of light a little bit higher here and some more depth on the sides, especially because I have the light coming there. Awesome, so I'm going to continue this on the back of her head here and then on the opposite side as well. So you can really see, especially here where I have more color product here, that's where she's going to be the lightest, and then it's just going to slowly kind of go up and melt into the darker hair there. And there we go. Now we're gonna let Sammy process room temperature for anywhere between 40 and 50, up to 50 minutes actually. Because Sammy likes her nice white blondes, I'm going to let her sit for approximately 40 minutes, kind of check, see what's going on, and then go from there. We're also going to take the Color Blonde Idol, the VV, and go through and add some points of that in throughout her hair to help kind of tone out some of these yellow tones, but also to create some dimension throughout her hair without giving her tons of foils and doing a lot with the blonde she already has. So just to customize it to her hair.
All right, now just let her process.
So I'm going to rinse Sammy and use Redken Extreme shampoo, towel dry her, and then go through with our Redken chemistry treatment by using the Shot Phase Extreme, the Shot Phase Extreme, the All Softs, and the Volume, because she likes the bigger hair. The All Softs to help so we can get through the tangles and keep her hair looking nice, and then the Extreme to help build the proteins that we manipulated while decolorizing her. Then we'll spray with the Fix Phase 3.5 because she has color treated hair, and let that sit on for about 5 minutes and let her enjoy a massage and a warm towel treatment. So to prep Sammy's hair for styling today, we used the Redken BBB spray to help condition her hair, but also to be able to brush through it. Next, I will be using the Pillowproof, it's a tongue twister, Blow Dry Express Primer Treatment throughout Sammy's hair. What this product will do is this will help even out the porosity of her hair so that other products as they go in won't adhere more to one area that's more porous than another. It also allows for quicker blow dry time, which with the amount of hair that Sammy has, we absolutely love. Next, for adding extra shine, and again to help with the blow dry process and to get my brush through her over processed blondes, we are using the Diamond Oil to again add a lot of shine. I love to use this product both before and after. It's probably one of my favorite products. I love the light perfume smell that it also holds. And then because Sammy likes big hair, we are going to go through with Guts number 10 at her root line to help add that volume and have that volume stick throughout her hair. I'm going to go through and blow dry Sammy's hair. As I'm blow drying her, we found where her part line wants to lay today. So I'm going to be using my vent brush to over direct her hair over her part line to give her the maximum amount of volume. I like to tell a lot of my clients to, instead of flipping their head upside down, I like to tell them to over direct it so it gives it more of that round over directed shape rather than a ski slope of volume. The volume will last longer throughout the day as well, and then make sure they understand the proper use of the cooling button on their blow dryer so that that kind of helps set that volume into their hair that they're putting in there. So I blew Sammy dry and made sure I used my cool setting on her hair so that it adds that shine that we want. As you can see here, before I start styling her, you can really see how these colors just melt right into each other. And then below here you can see where you can see a little bit of that VV tone throughout there, but it just creates that really cool icy blonde. Now what I'm gonna do is go through with Powder Grip 03, which is probably my go-to product for myself personally. I have fine hair and like big hair, and I always say the bigger the hair, the closer to God. So I'm gonna go through and add some texture into Sammy's roots here. She also likes really big hair, more of that beachy wave kind of look. So I'm just gonna go through with a tiny little bit of Powder Grip here and create some texture in her roots. So loosely pull this up. And now too that I have her hair up, I can show you the back technique, how it just gives those little couple foils, that little look of a highlight, but not too much of a highlight. So we're gonna put this in a very loose ponytail, nothing too fancy. I'm gonna go through and spray my 22 hot sets because she does have lots of hair. The heaviness of it can tend to pull some curls out, and we don't want tight curls, but we want some curls. So I'm actually just gonna go through and spray couple layers of that. Comb the product through the ends. You can really see a lot of her colors now too. Just beautiful. Then I'm going to take my big barrel curling iron here and go through and just curl her hair in a couple different directions. Nothing too tight, nothing too loose. But by putting it in the ponytail, it's making it so that you're not getting that super tight look at her roots, just a nice bend on the ends. Then again, to go over with the Control Addict, I like the Control Addict because it still gives them that texture, but yet they still are able to move their hair. To help Sammy can maintain her look at home, today I'm going to be sending her home with our Redken Sulfate-Free Blonde Idol shampoo, conditioner, the BBB spray to help keep her locks easy to manage when they comb through, and also the Blonde Idol mask. So that she can make sure that her hair stays strong, and so we can continue servicing her in the salon with her blonde looks. So in closing, I would just like to thank Redken so much for this opportunity. I think one of the biggest reasons why I love this industry the way that I do is how I'm inspired every day by art, architecture. My clients, just you're there for the first haircut, for the proms, for the weddings, for the divorces, but also for, in the end, you're really become a part of their family. And with Redken, I'm able to treat my family how I think they should be treated, which is top notch. So I really am able to make my clients feel that they are queens and kings of the world, and just make them feel really good and confident when they leave. Confidence is something you can't, it's something that you give to a client that they can't get anywhere else. And that feeling alone just inspires me every day to get up and go to what I don't even like calling a job because I have so much fun. And I just can't thank Redken enough for inspiring me every day to not only be a better cosmetologist and a better person, but also to want to educate, just because I love being able to inspire other people. So thank you so much, Redken. Thank you for taking time to watch my video, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to learn better and earn better and live better. Have a great day. Bye.